I graduated from the Geospatial Technologies program in 2021, and right now I currently work for Blue White Robotics as a drone operator. I do aerial surveying for crops. I fly this Matrix M300 here. It should look pretty familiar. Devin's got one in his classroom. And with this, basically what I do is fly over typically corn or soybean fields like this one here. And with that, I take a image an acre, and at the end of the day, I'll upload them. And with that data, they'll send them back to the ag co-ops looking for growth deficiencies, diseases, insect damages, and weeds, stuff like that. Then they give that back to the farmers. That way they can see how their yields will be for the year. The Geospatial Technologies program really helped me to get to where I was in a number of different ways. Getting your FAA Part 107 license, can't do any commercial flying without it. And on top of that, all the flight hours and flight experience that you get during class really looks good for you when you put it on your resume applying for these kind of jobs. I know that when I was interviewed for this position, I did mention I had previous experience flying a Matrix, and that really benefited me in the fact that none of the other pilots that work for these guys had prior experience flying. Right now, as a drone operator, I receive $23 an hour. I do work a lot of overtime though. Between 50 to 60 hours in a week would be pretty typical, trying to keep up with all the acres that need flown. And on top of that, you get the federal mileage reimbursement rate. For every mile that you travel, you get 62 cents. That'll add up there pretty quick. So with that, on top of all the overtime, plus a full 8-hour day, usually it's a pretty good paying job. There's numerous upward advancement opportunities for this job. The first one would be the ability to be a super pilot. Instead of staying in a centralized location for the whole season, you would travel back and forth between the different hubs, helping all the other pilots reach their deadlines and meeting their flight windows. Another opportunity that you have is you have the ability to be an ops manager, and ops managers will assign all the different fields that need flown to the pilots in all their hubs. The best advice I can give to any students in the Geospatial Technologies program is that it's a pretty open-ended program. There's lots of job opportunities that can come out of it too. I keep in contact with numerous of my past classmates, and from me flying drones to some of them doing ArcMap databases to some of them being CAD operators, if there's anything that you really enjoy about this program, chances are more than likely you can find a job doing it.
I am an energy scheduler at Missouri River Energy in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And what my job is I buy and sell energy. And I also monitor a couple of power plants and a dam. One of the power plants that I monitor is Exira Power Plant in Atlantic, Iowa. And the second one is Red Rock Hydro Plant, which is a dam located in Pella, Iowa. And we also monitor a power plant in Watertown, South Dakota. The Geospatial Technology program helped me with these classes like AutoCAD and learning how to use Excel. I learned how to use these programs, and they're very important in my work life. I use Excel almost every single day in my line of work. And it's really helped me. It's really helped me be successful. It's really helped me start kind of a step ahead as opposed to some other people who had not known Excel energy. Believe it or not, people did not know how to use it. We typically make around $37 an hour, and that raises up to around $45 an hour. I believe it maxes out. Could be going a little bit higher. Once you start, you're due for a 6-month raise. So after that, they raise it about 3%. And then you get a year raise also, so you get 2 raises your first year, and that'll amount to about a 6% raise. And then after that, you will get a raise every single year. So they really do a very good job of paying their employees, and they also help fix it with the rate of inflation. So if inflation is very high, they're raising their pay of employees a little bit higher too. There's a very good chance of moving up in this company. There's been 2 openings since I have started working here, and both of them were filled by people that had worked internally in the building, and then they looked for outside hires to fill their positions. So when they move people up, they tend to look for people that are already in the building and know how they work. When you leave college and go for the job that you eventually will get, don't be afraid to leave. Don't be afraid to get up and regroup somewhere else. Originally out of college, I had got a job and I thought I liked it. It was going well. I was doing well, decently, getting paid all right. And I wasn't feeling all right, didn't really like it as much. And I started putting some feelers out. I started looking for other jobs and sent some applications. And then I eventually found the job that I have now. And I could really tell a difference when I landed in a good job versus a bad job. And if you doesn't feel like it's a good job, or you can't really tell, it's probably not the best job you could have taken. And don't be afraid to pivot and really find a job that fits you really well. And I mean, it's a big part of your life, and being happy at your job means to a very happy life.
I'm a right-of-way transfer and GIS Asset Specialist for the state of South Dakota. I've been there for about 4 years and started that job when I was fresh out of college. The main focus or scope of what we do is we basically map right-of-way parcels that the department owns. The way we do that is we will get plats from the county, or we might have them on file. Basically, we will map these in ArcMap, or now ArcGIS Pro, which we're slowly merging to. That's a whole different beast though to learn by yourself. So basically, this is kind of like a plat. It's just a legal land document with dimensions, section, township, range on it. Yeah, and you'll map it to the dimensions to make sure it's, dimensionally accurate, and it's got to be spatially accurate on the location of the highway. We also will keep track of these records in, like I said, ArcMap or Pro. We keep track of these because the state, whenever we sell, trade, abandon, vacate, so on and so forth with a piece of land, the state actually retains the mineral rights for the land. So say we sell a piece of land out in the hills and the new owner thinks it's, there's gold in there. They can't have that gold. That will always be the state's. And these records might be 2 months old, or they might be 80 years old. It's not just a plug and play type thing. There's a lot of research, there's a lot of database work, because from 80 years ago, people filed and stored documents and records way differently than they do now. The tech program helped me in a variety of ways with my everyday tasks. The main courses in GIS still is and is my bread and butter. I use the very things we learned in the class, help tackle challenges every day. The CAD classes and the drone work as well help me. Since I have the pilot license for the drone, I'm actually got signed up to be on the committee, so that's a whole different beast to deal with, but it helps, and because of that, I actually know what people are talking about when it comes to that. The pay varies, by the position and what you do. This, the state's highly competitive when it comes to pay, and honestly, the sky is really the limit to what you want out of your career. I guess starting, you could probably typically expect $18 to $22 an hour, somewhere in that range, again, depending on what you do. Every position is different with different pay. I personally know people with 25, 30 years of experience, but they're pulling 100,000, 6 figures a year, easy, so really depends, what you want to do and what you want out of it. Positions are constantly changing with the chance of being promoted or taking on a higher level position. It's the cliche, work hard and good things will come, basically, with any job. Pay attention in school, read and understand your criteria. Ask questions if you don't understand it, because these very things that you're learning right now will come back in the job force, and if you don't ask now, then you're going to be asking later. The best question that I always ask myself, that I use almost every day, is what does the consumer want, and what is the best way that they will understand the data that you're trying to portray. Always ask yourself that, and it'll make your world way easier, at least in my line of work.
I work at Vantage Point Solutions here in Mitchell, South Dakota. Vantage Point is a telecom engineering and consulting firm. I do a lot of Esri work, CAD work, and GIS specific telecom softwares. We basically handle the whole process of a telecom build, from getting the grants all the way to putting in the fiber in the grounds and the whole process in between. I'm in the mapping department, and so I use, GIS to map and to report by all of our telecom projects that we have going on. And then we also do reporting for clients for the government to get that funding as well. The geospatial program, I graduated in 2020 from Mitchell Tech. It really helped me get where I am today. Really helped me learn all of the softwares and really apply them to this job, and to really speed things up, do things more accurate. Anyone looking to come into like this type of job would probably see about $18 an hour. That's pretty standard, I think. GIS is becoming a pretty big thing especially in the telecom industry. There's a lot of people switching over from more traditional ways of doing it to GIS ways of doing it, because it's a lot more accurate, and you can run reports and stuff a lot easier. Any advice I would give would be to really apply yourself to all the bookwork there, all the softwares, all the hands-on work there. That really gave me a jump into my career. Really work hard at all the softwares, learn them, because you're going to use a lot of it in this type of work.